Welcome to TV3's Spartan Sports Report for today. I will be talking about Spartan sports, Sam, in a few minutes, but first we have a fine guest you'd like to introduce.
Yeah, Daryl Drew from Parks Department, and very glad to have you along with us. And
Thank you.
I'd like to know a little bit about some things that are going on with Parks and Recreation in the city of Connersville.
I appreciate you having me.
What's your official title?
Sports and Rec Director.
Very good, very good. And you have more than just Roberts Park to take care of, I believe.
Yeah, we have all the ball fields and soccer fields and
Okay.
industrial, and so yeah, there's a lot to keep up with.
It's year-round, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. What's the big thing right now?
Right now, we're getting ready to kick off soccer for the kids.
Okay.
It's ages 3 through 14. So we're taking sign-ups. Actually, we're just finishing them up this week and getting ready to put the season together. Next week, we'll be kicking off our machine pitch league. We already got the kids signed up for that. And we are getting ready to start adult kickball.
Is that soccer?
Nope, it's actual kickball. We have an adult soccer league
Okay.
going right now that we have probably about 120 people playing in, but this will be actual kickball.
Kickball, that's a lot of fun. I think. Going back to my grade school days up at Grandview, we did that at recess all the time, and that's pretty cool that you have that for the adults.
We're also going to have it for the kids starting signups next week. So, I think that's a good sport for them where they can just go have fun and not be so competitive and just kind of let loose. And it'll run from 1st to 6th grade, so it'll be a good, mix of kids.
My grandson was involved in that a few years ago, and it was fun for all of us just to go watch. And,
Yeah.
And it was interesting how the 6th graders really look out for the little guys,
do.
for the 1st and 2nd
They
graders.
do.
And
That's
it's all
fun.
co-ed, and it's a great activity in the fall when some of the other more structured sports are done.
Right. Yeah, it's a great sport, and to see those older kids take care of the younger kids and kind of, help along is kind of cool to watch.
How many on a team? Tell us about kickball.
We'll have this is our first year running it ever,
Okay.
so we'll have probably 15 kids on a team, hopefully, be 8 or 10 teams, and get that started and see where it goes.
Okay.
We're going to try to play through the week because we have the soccer on the weekend, so, we got to kind of spread it out a little bit so parents can have a little bit of a break.
Is it a sport with a clock or?
No, you
what
just play about
determines?
6 innings, 3
okay.
outs, so it's different. I mean, it's kind of cool to watch, though. The little kids really have fun with it, so.
Similar to baseball rules.
Yeah,
and
pretty much.
running the
Okay.
bases and all. But you talk about soccer now. This is fall league soccer. There was also spring.
Yep,
So
we have spring and fall every
a
year.
lot. That's a sport that seems to really be growing in interest.
When I first started with this job, we had 240 kids playing, and 6 years later, we have 351. So, I mean, it's
Gee,
really starting
That's
to grow.
great. That's great. In high school, you have to have physical exams. Do your people have to have physicals?
No, they don't
Okay.
have to have any of that.
I didn't know if any of that was
No.
required or not.
Someday it'll probably come to that, but
Mm-hmm.
not right now.
Good deal.
Is there a cost for this?
$25. Everything we pretty much run is $25 for the kids. We try to keep the cost low so that, parents can let their kids do it and afford to do it. So $25 for soccer, baseball, for our softball, kickball, pretty much everything.
Several years ago, there was fall league baseball. Do you still have that?
Babe Ruth hasn't done that, but I hope if we get the new fields and stuff that we can do a fall league.
Okay.
I'd like to have a fall league and a travel league where we can run both of them and come in and out, so would be good.
Okay, following the fall, what will happen during the winter, Daryl?
Winter, for the first time again, we're taking over basketball for the kids. Girls will probably start sign-ups in October. Boys, I think we're going to run a little bit later, like start in January. We're going to work with Michael Thompson and Coach Brown to set these programs up and get them started. And then we will have adult things again. We'll have adult dodgeball, we'll have adult volleyball, and then men's league and church league basketball coming up.
All that's during the winter.
Yep.
Okay.
As far as for the kids with basketball, what gyms do you use for that?
Well, we've never had it, so we're trying to secure the Junior High South building and work with the school system on it, and we'll play some games there, and we might be able to play some of the younger kid games at the Miller building, where it's a little bit smaller, so we're hoping to use those 2 gyms for both of them.
What about any of the elementary? I know years ago that some of that was used.
I know
if
they
you had
did.
to, but
I think if we could work it out where we do. They've tried Alquine and Orange, and they're both so far out and small. You don't want to use those. There's just not a lot of seating at the elementary gyms to get people in there, and there's quite a few people from what I've seen come to these games. So
oh yeah, moms and dads and
grandmas and grandpas, yeah. You get that younger crowd, all the family comes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, what about some of the other parks? There's Industrial Field. The John Connor Preserve is a park that you fellows take care of. Well, what happens at those places?
There's down at this, we got the Second Street Park. We have a basketball court and a playground down there, and a lot of those neighborhood kids there seem to play
Sure.
there. Over at Industrial, we got basketball, and then of course softball, and there's some softball teams that practice over there for the younger kids. John Connor right now, there's a lot of people seem to be fishing down there. We stock that pond about once a year. Right now we got a big beaver down there. It's cutting down trees right and left that we got to get taken care of.
Trails are in the news in the north end. What there's a trail at John Connor, isn't there?
There are a few walking trails down there. They're mulched right now. I think eventually, they're going to tie in with some of the other trails. Right now we got the trail from 32nd Street up to Lick Creek that we're working on.
Yes.
And we're getting close. We need some trees cut out yet, some limbs. And I think maybe by the end of October, we may be paving that and ready to go. This is the hope.
What's the length of that trail?
Right now it's only 3/4 a mile.
Okay.
So, 3/4 up, 3/4 back. But hopefully, I don't know if you guys have been up around there, but you go up and it's right to Lick Creek, which drops down on a hill. And there's a perfect place for like a picnic area up there and people to go sit. We've been on it several times here lately, and the kids, right before they went back to school, were all walking up there going to the creek to play in the creek one more time, So it was kind of cute.
I played in that creek when I walked the railroad bank, the track, and grew up in Beeson's Addition, so I'm very familiar with the area. There used to be a big old hedge apple tree up there that we would throw hedge apples at each other. But I think this is a great thing. I was in Indianapolis over the weekend for the state fair, and of course the Monon Trail comes right through there. And you think about what has been done with that and how that's opened up that city, and this just seems like a natural progression with the sidewalk down Park Road, and the more area that we can have for recreation for the youngsters as well as everyone. You see that sidewalk is used constantly, and I can see this just as an extension of that.
It is, and it's going to be, I think, everybody says, well, it's a trail to nowhere. Well, we finally got a trail started, and for years it's been talked about, and the foundation and Anna Dungan's just not going to let this one die. They're going to put in some trails, and this is a great one to start with.
It certainly is. Years ago there was talk about a river walk too, and maybe that can come back and everything can be tied together.
It would be nice. Yeah, I agree.
I think there's something in Wayne County that they like to wind down through this area, isn't there?
There's a few trails I think that come down to Centerville, so which is all part of that Cardinal Greenway.
Yes.
And maybe we could tie into that somehow.
Yeah, that'd be
someday,
great.
in a 5-year project or something. So.
Okay, we've got a soccer field down on Veterans Memorial. You're about to get it ready to go?
Yep, we are ready to play. Actually, we've got it cleaned up, ready to go. We're going to roll it one more time, and we'll be ready to play.
And right next to the soccer field is an area that I know is close to your heart.
It is.
Tell us about what you hope happens down there, Daryl.
There's about 40 to 50 acres right behind Duke Energy and the soccer fields that we would love to see turn into the new ball fields, where we could put about 6 ball fields in, a football field, tie in the trails up through there, eventually be a picnic area right there, and it would all be right out there with the soccer fields and everything, and close.
Yes, and that would then move everything that's Babe Ruth Complex down there.
Yeah. We need to get out of the flood zone. It's we're just putting good money after bad down there, and I think if we could get it moved out there, we're going to get more kids seeing that, we're upgrading the parks and stuff. And I think that, we could host tournaments down there every weekend if we wanted to, where we're located between Indianapolis and Cincinnati and Dayton. I think you could draw a lot of people into this area for those.
So it'll be baseball, softball, both down there?
Yep, there'll be softball fields. There'll be actually a official high school field. that has the grass infield. There would be another official high school field that would have a skinned infield, which would be dirt. And then we would have a high school softball field and a high school skin softball field. So we could host a bunch of different tournaments. And then there would be like a t-ball field and other fields that we can use to play kickball on or play the industrial leagues, church leagues, men's leagues on and stuff. So there's a lot of multi-purpose fields if we could get it done.
Parking's a problem down there. Are you making provisions for that?
Yes, in between the two of them, there would be plenty of parking. You'd have to see the layout, but there's probably, I don't know, 500 additional parking spots out there for this kind of thing. So it'll be nice. There'll be handicap parking. You'll be able to charge getting in the gates and stuff, and collect more revenue to support the fields.
The foundation is helping you on this, aren't they?
They are, yes. Anna and the girls over there are a big help, and the big reasons why it's even getting looked at right now.
And where's some of the funding going to come from? Do you have any idea?
I know there's some grants. We haven't talked about a lot of that yet. I don't know how the city can help, but I know there's some grants out there that we're looking at. And, I think once we get the field secured, I think there'll be a lot of private donations and businesses that are willing to help. A couple have talked about it, So I think we can get some funding that way to help do the lighting and stuff like that.
At one time, I know that Major League Baseball said once you get the land, they will contribute.
Yeah, they're another one that we could look at for a grant.
Yes. Sam, I know you're in favor of this.
Oh, I think it's a great thing. And the other thing I was thinking about money-wise was that once it's there, and when you have tournaments and outside groups that come in and you do charge admission, that some of it would help support some of the maintenance and some of the other things, along with concessions and that type of thing that hopefully could be self-supporting once it was up and running.
I think once you get it up and running, it would help. I mean, I think it would support itself, but it's just going to take some time to get to that spot where we can do that.
I think our community has proven that we can host big events. We have 2 World Series here, and we did the best we could with what we had down there, and it really looked great, but there's always that threat of floods.
There is. We're actually looking at trying to host another Ohio Valley tournament next year, so, that would be another point we could prove that we could handle it, and with the new fields and everything, it would be awesome when we get those to do that.
And looking at your layout here, and we talked about it briefly before we went on the air, that as far as the parking and the traffic flow, that it'd be one way in and one way out, which certainly I think would help down on the Veterans Memorial Drive of being able to deal with the traffic.
Yeah, you would come in by the soccer fields and go out on the other side of Duke Energy, and there'd be parking all along in between the soccer fields and the baseball fields back there. So it's going to be real easy to get access into. So I think that would help.
A very attractive area. Of course, years ago, next to Duke Energy, there was a golf driving range there right along the tree line of the river, but up on high ground, as we said, and really could be a beautiful facility.
Yeah, and they're even talking about eventually in 2017 maybe a canoe launch going in there where people could use the river more too. So there's a lot of good ideas out there. We just got to get the land bought first.
Certainly. Well,
yeah, I think it's important that we're adjacent to the river and have access to the river.
Yeah, I do too.
That'd be great. That'd be really something for the folks in this area, I believe.
Take advantage of our natural resources and our environment that we have.
Absolutely.
And for many years, people didn't want to do that, I don't think, and wanted to stifle that kind of growth. But I think it's very important. Quality of life is all plays into this, and quality of life is what people looking to relocate. That's one of the major considerations.
Most people that want to relocate want to look at your school system, what you have for their kids.
Yes.
That's the two things, so.
Yes.
And it's good that the Parks Department and the school system, the athletic department, the school system, do work together on a lot of projects hand in hand.
Normally right in there with them is the foundation to, right there with them. So, they just done a new weight room out there. The foundation helped them do. So it really looks good too. I don't know if you guys have been out to see that.
Well, I'm anxious to see it. I haven't.
It looks really good. Adam done a great job on that. So
I'm sure.
It's always fun working with the school. Adam and I worked together on that, the the football thing last Saturday up at the park that, went well, but I think there's some things we can do to tweak it and make it better. So we're going to sit down and talk about it and see if we can do it again next year.
Good, good. Another, I'll just bring this up now, another event that's coming up that's not necessarily connected with the Parks Department, but it's the Spartan Open 2015 Boys Basketball Golf Tournament. It'll be a scramble and will be held on Saturday, September 26th. Shotgun start at 9 a.m. Cost is just $200 a team, and they're also looking for sponsors, whole sponsors, and so if anyone's interested, you can call the athletic office, get a hold of Coach Kerry Brown, and they'll get you signed up. It's a way to have some fun and raise some money for Spartan Athletics.
That's right.
They've been doing that for a while now, haven't they?
They have, and I think it's been very successful.
Yeah, I think they've had great turnouts for that, so that's good.
Some more fall Spartan sports getting underway this week, you guys. We have girls soccer home to Richmond on Thursday. Boys soccer home to Lawrenceburg on Saturday. That's a noon start for those guys. Boys tennis and cross country are both beginning this week. Girls golf continues. And of course, volleyball opens. And we have some film about the girls volleyball team at CHS. And let's see that right now.
We brought in 2 certified trainers this year from our local gyms, and they worked as a whole group. They worked on our strength and our conditioning, and so that takes up all summer. And then we start the season in August, and we hit the ground running. We're always, as coaches, always trying to condition our athletes, and I think it was a great idea because it kind of gets them to buy into it a little bit. Coming from these certified trainers who know athletics, their specialty is in training athletics, and I think it just really helped build a lot of strength in girls. Girls are kind of weak upper body generally. Some of our incoming freshmen learning how to jump. And just use their body athletically. So I think our trainers did a super job getting the girls aware of how to use their bodies on the athletic floor.
With the personal trainer, we work on a lot of agility and a lot of jumping. We do a lot of leg muscles, we do a lot of leg lifts, we do a lot of leg training. So that way he builds up my legs for my jumping ability for my position.
I think some of the girls feel more confident in what they did. I know the trainers, they worked a lot on jumping, and they measured their verticals from beginning of the summer to the end, and we saw great progress with some of our abilities to jump a little bit higher, and that's the name of the game in volleyball. I mentioned our 4 seniors. Seniors always have to step up. They know what to expect. They've been here before. They've been down that road before. I say Brittany, Madison, and Samantha again, along with Kelsey Barrett. They're going to be big leaders for us. They have a lot of younger underclassmen playing with them. So in order for them to have a successful year, they're going to have to bring along those underclassmen and lead them and be positive role models and just bring them along with them so we can have a successful year.
During a match, I feel like I am the loudest one out on the court next to Maddie. She probably yells a lot with me. We always are encouraging everyone. We're slapping them on the hand. Hey, good job. We always bring the team together. After every point, we bring the team together. No matter if we made a mistake or someone else made a mistake or the other team made a mistake, we come together and we celebrate that point, or we say, hey, let's do this different next time, or let's do this now, and then we just start from there.
So since we are outsized a lot of the time, we just try to teach our teams and coach them differently as you would as the big athletes. We find different ways to get points. We can't bang for bang, go point for point with big teams. We just had to find alternate ways to score. Whether that be, hitting the ball over on 2, going on 2, placement is a big factor for us, and hustle is a big factor for us. Opening night's always a little jittery, a little nerves. The nerves kick in, so it takes a little while for them to settle into the match themselves. New Pal has a strong sophomore player. She's dynamite. So that'll be a real big test for us. New Pal's strong, they're big, and that's something that we're going to go up through, the rest of the year. So it's going to be a good test for us right off the bat. Going into that, we're going to go right into conference play. So like I said, we really don't have a lot of time to catch our breath. We just got to learn from the first match and move on.
This season has definitely been a tough one for me just at the beginning, even because of it being my senior year. I have thought about all the first practices and the first games and the first tournaments and the first and last sectional. And it's just hit me hard that the game I've grown up playing is going to be over. Knowing that this is my last high school career and high school year, that it's been really tough.
Off the court, we always want to represent Connersville High School to our best ability in our volleyball programs. On the court, we just want to play sound, fundamental volleyball. We lack size. That's nothing new to us, but we can make up for it in character, determination, motivation, those types of things. And I think that'll carry us through a lot of those tough matches where we might be oversized, outpowered. We can play strong, fundamental volleyball and be able to be successful.
Being a Spartan to me means that I'm a Spartan on and off the court. Even when I'm not in that red jersey, I'm still a Spartan out in public. I always feel like there will always be a part of me that will always be a Spartan.
I'm just looking forward to a new season each year. New players, new season, new start.
1, 2, 3, Spartan volleyball!
Coach Pfeiffer does a good job.
She certainly does. She's been at it for a while. She played the game and now coaching, and then great to see her daughter there get a little emotional. But watch Brittany grow up, and just a fine young lady. And it's so nice to hear her say that she's a Spartan on and off the court, and that means a lot. I know to her mom and to everybody out at school that she's someone that the little girls can look up to.
Well, we wish the girls the best of luck, and I'm sure they'll do well.
I'm sure they
Another
will.
fall sport beginning this week, Sam. I know you're not interested, but it's Adam Kelly and his football squad.
Well, we're looking forward to that, and they'll be traveling to Richmond to take on the Red Devils, team we love to hate. So we'll see what happens there. I think it was sometime in the 1930s was the last time that Connersville defeated Richmond at Richmond in football. Didn't play them for a number of years, but it's time to turn that around. And of course, you can join Dave Pollard and me all season long with Spartan football on KMX 106.9. And Fran, you will have the local TV broadcast here when the Spartans play at home, and that's always a lot of fun to watch you and Ronnie Wiley and or listen to you and watch the game that I had seen the week before. So
see a little bit of history. Richmond was 5-5 last year. They defeated the Spartans in the opener by 13 points, like 27-14, something like that, at Spartan Stadium. So a little bit of revenge would be okay.
I think it would be great.
We won 4 games, lost 6 last year. I know Coach Kelly is hoping for a season with more victories this year and everything.
They play a tough schedule, Fran, but they were in most of those games. I think there may be only one game that they really weren't in it, but they had their opportunities. Even up at Richmond, I thought they played well. Or when Richmond came here to Spartan Field, and they had their chances. And so a break here or a break there, and make that extra tackle, and we'll see what happens. It's a little bit of a rebuilding year, I think, for the Spartans, but I think Coach Kelly has kids with the right attitude.
Oh, I agree. Yes, they lost 20 seniors, as we talked about on last week's show. There were just 9 juniors from last year's team to advance as seniors this year. So they're the guys that these young kids will be looking up to and want help from and advice. So it should be an interesting season, and certainly hope the fans will come out a week from Friday when the Spartans open at home with Franklin County.
Yeah, big conference game, and certainly like to see a big crowd there. Like to see a big crowd travel to Richmond on Friday night, the 21st.
I think the weather is a good one, so it should be a great evening, and even a greater evening if the Spartans can pull out a victory. So,
absolutely.
So we hope that they can.
We talked about it a little bit last week, that beautiful stadium up there at Richmond with the artificial turf. So if you've not been to a high school football game where they have artificial turf, this one's pretty close, and be a good opportunity to do so.
And the field is right next to the high school.
It's just on the east side of the Tiernan Center. So parking right there in front, and short walk to the stadium.
Daryl, you were talking about if this new idea for a field goes through, is there a football, something in the works down there?
We actually would have room to put in a actual football field where we could start playing like flag football for the younger kids, and maybe help with the program, the kids program that Adam's so involved in with his
Yes.
club, and we could possibly do some of that out there too.
That would be great. I
Yeah.
mean, I really hope that this can go through and the funding becomes available and it becomes a reality and in a short time, because if we keep the field where we're at, EPA says you will do some major sewage
Yeah.
water improvements down there. So to avoid that happening, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on that, this just makes sense.
That it does, and he said, we put good money after bad for
Sure.
so many years. So turn that into a nature preserve down there where it's at, or something. Take the fences out and where the old field is, and hopefully we can get this new field going down there and
Yes.
down on Veterans Memorial Drive.
Yes.
It would sure be nice to get started on.
Well, hopefully it'll all fall into place. Are you involved in Christmas and Easter at the park as part of the recreation director?
We are. Actually, our next thing is the Halloween party. That'll be
Okay.
going on October 29th.
So
We are partnering with the Children's Bureau. They'll do set up in the Miller Building in the front part of the banquet hall, and we'll set up in the gym, and they'll go through that part of the building and learn about stuff that is available for families and kids, and then come on into the gym and have a good time.
We are really blessed with the facilities that we have here in Connersville and at Roberts Park, that Colonel Roberts left us the land up there. But when you think about the buildings, the amphitheater, and the restoration of the pavilion, and of course the Miller Building, and restoration of the Roberts Building, we really have nice buildings, nice facilities to host things.
We do. It's we're real lucky to have those, and they stay pretty busy. I mean, especially the Miller Building, and now the Roberts Building's starting to pick up because the Miller Building's so busy. So I mean, it's really good to see that things happen.
Is the archery team still using the basement at the...
They do. They shoot.
Good deal.
They'll be coming in.
Interesting.
It's fall, late fall, and yeah, they use it. And according to Dan Lane and a couple of their instructors, they've got several kids advanced to the state out of there. So
Wonderful.
yeah, so it's good to see that they can use that for that.
As you point out, Sam, we've got a lot of fine facilities, and I know, as Daryl mentioned, people look at those things if they're planning on coming to Connersville, and it's important that we have those.
Yes, it is, and of course, coming up Labor Day weekend in the park, there'll be a lot going on there, as there always is, and that brings in a lot of people from all across the country and across the region.
I know Everton's having a big car show, the Everton's Lions Clubs. I know Jim Reese is working on that, and they always have a great crowd for that and everything. So yeah, there's just a lot going on up there right now.
Daryl, thanks for joining us. Daryl Drew of Connersville Parks Recreation, joining Sam and I on the Spartan Sports Report. We'll be back next week.